Okay, here are 10 ways you may be conforming to stupidity and you don't even know it, you're not aware of it, or maybe you are aware of it and you don't want to do it anymore. So let's go over these 10 points here real quick. The first one is when you're wanting to be liked or at least not hated. Can you even imagine how much time you spend every day, every week, or your entire life just trying to be liked by everybody, or you don't want to be hated by people? You're maybe you're codependent, I guess. I don't know, but you spend your days just making sure that you're conforming to what other people kind of want you to be, so that they like you, or at least they don't hate you. So you think about any given day, you're going around. It's like nobody goes to the office, nobody goes to church, nobody just goes out in society and says, I don't care if I'm hated or I'm not liked. Well, actually, maybe there are people like that. There probably are people like that. But I think the better attitude to have is like, I really don't care if I'm liked or hated as long as I'm being myself. Does that make any sense? So a lot of us conform ourselves to how we think others want us to be, so that they like us. But here's the secret, or that's not the secret. Here's the bald-faced lie. People like you or hate you no matter what you do or who you are. So it makes no sense to try to go out there and try to be liked or not, or at least not hated, because no matter what you do, no matter what mask you put on, no matter what facade you take on, someone's going to not like you anyway. Okay, so it gets back to, instead of conforming to stupidity, conform to yourself and just be that person, and just, take the hits as they come, because, it's easier to be yourself than to fake something and still get like hit over the head with the hatred baseball bat. Point number 2, you're trying to fit in with a family where it's impossible to fit in. This is a harsh one for some people, because you're trying really hard to be the good son, the good daughter, the good brother, the good sister, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, right? So it's almost like the first point. You're trying really hard to fit in because you want to fit in with your family. You want to have that sense of belonging. You want to have that sense of, hey, this is my family. We all look out for each other and everything. But it's very possible you just don't fit in, and the other family members aren't really letting you fit in, except on their terms. It's got to be on their terms. You can only fit in with our family if you do X, Y, and Z, or if you behave in a certain way, or if you don't upset mommy or daddy, or you don't tick off one of the brothers or sisters or something like that. Okay, so to not conform to that stupidity is stop trying to fit into a family where they don't seem to really want you to fit in. If that makes any sense. So if you are with your family and you're trying really hard to fit in instead of just being yourself, it's kind of a red flag. It's like, so why are you trying so hard to fit in around people who aren't really letting you fit in? And you have to be something you're not, and you have to pretend you're something you're not, and you have to go by some rules that you don't understand or don't make any sense. So it's to not conform to that stupidity is just be yourself around your family. And if you can't be yourself, that's huge. You have to take a look at that and why you're doing that, and then make decisions based on what's best for you. All right, number 3 on the conformity to stupidity, being a sheeple and following the crowd. That is so prevalent today. I think it's been prevalent forever. And you'll see, what's that? There's a photo on the internet. They show a whole crowd of people. It's like at a steel workers or a boat, something, where all these people were given the Nazi salute except for one guy. And I think the caption usually on the meme is, hey, be this guy, or don't be these other people like that. But most people follow the crowd or are sheeples because it's easy. It's easy to just, go along with it, what everyone else is doing. But again, if you believe in stuff, if you have a strong moral base, if you have strong beliefs, then it's going to be harder to be a sheeple. It's going to be harder to go along, because you do dumb stuff. You start asking questions. Oh my gosh, if you ever want to get in trouble with the sheeple, with the go along crowd, start asking questions. We all do this. Like, well, why do we do this? Well, we've always done that. Well, probably didn't always do that since when? When did this start? How did it even happen, right? So all of a sudden you're following a bunch of morons who don't know what they're doing or where they're going, right? And then they say, you're the weirdo for not following them. Does that make any sense at all to be a sheeple in this day and age? And I'll talk about the whole COVID thing. It's like all the people wearing masks and getting shots and social distancing and everything else just because everyone else was. Everyone was afraid. But when you start asking questions, why are we doing this? What's the reason for this? Is there like science behind it? Should I be doing this? Boy, oh boy, you just got smacked upside down. Do you remember that? It's only a few years ago. I think people forgot about it already. But that's just one example. Or the millions of lies you hear every single day. It's like, well, just, it's the thing I hate the worst. Sit down and shut up. Just do what you're told. Okay? So conforming to stupidity is don't be a sheeple. Be yourself. Get information. Ask questions. Study. Don't be lazy. Number 4. Oh, here's a good one. Doing everything for a job that'll lay you off in a group email on a Friday. Isn't that the truth? And I'm not suggesting you don't give everything for your job in the sense of you do your best when you go to work and you give them, what do they call it? Honest day's pay for an honest day's work or something like that. So I'm not suggesting that you take shortcuts and, don't give your boss what he or she, needs and deserves, obviously. But there are so many people who will go, and especially in this day and age on computers, they'll have that computer on 24/7. They'll be doing reports and emails and projects over the weekend on Saturdays and Sundays and the evenings after they get home. So they're neglecting their family, they're neglecting their health, everything like that. But how stupid is that? How many of you? So if you use Slack or there's a communication tool at work, how many times? Maybe they do it. They used to do it where I used to work. There was almost like a human resources channel or something. Well, so and so Bob and such company have decided to part ways. Right about Friday. That way you can get your white banker's box and fill it with stuff and walk out. But they have no qualms in kicking you out the door, on a Friday afternoon at 4:59. So give them what's due to them, but for goodness sakes, you want to conform to stupidity. Stop being the, company suck up in a way of just doing anything and everything at any hour of the day for your company and for your job. Number 6, calling your job a family. Do you ever get that? You ever see those advertisements or job descriptions like, "Hey, join our company. Come join our family." If you're from like a dysfunctional or messed up family, what could be worse? And yet, part of you want to hear that. You want to hear, "Oh, I want to be part of this family. Isn't that great? Oh, they're gonna love me. They're gonna love my work. They're gonna accept me. I'm gonna be part of something great and everything." People are just as messed up in the workplace as they are in, their family life because they bring it with them. They have the same attitudes and the same ideas and the same way to get through a day and how they treat other people. If someone's a narcissist in their family, they're going to be a narcissist at work. If somebody is like, king bee in their family, they're going to do that same stuff at work. So all the same garbage that goes on in your family, if that's the kind of family you're in or from, don't think that by going to work, you're going to be part of a better family. Because people are still the same no matter where you go. So you're like, "Oh, I just know that if I get this job, it's going to be the best job ever. And they're going to treat me like family. They said they are. We're going to have family picnics and family gatherings and, after work family stuff." It's like, I don't know. Maybe in your experience, if you want to if you want to comment on this, I've never had that experience where you go in and they just, "Oh, you're just the cat's meow. You're the greatest thing in the world." Okay, it gets back to the other point. Just go there, do your job, do the best you can, and go home. And I don't know if you want to, if you think that's where you're going to get all your strokes and your attaboys and pats on the back, and that's where you have to go to do that. All I'm saying is just watch out. If a job says they're like your family, yeesh. Point number 7. Being as Catholic as you feel. So if you're a Catholic and you look around you, you see a lot of people that just don't, they don't go to Mass on Sundays. They believe that using contraceptives is fine. They believe that, you can go out and get as drunk as you want to. If they're doing anything and everything, because it feels good, it feels okay, it feels right, and there's really no substance to their Catholicism. And watch out for that. Don't go following that group. Don't conform to that. It's back to like the other point I was talking about. Start thinking. Be a thinking person. If you're a Catholic and you're having troubles with a thing, go back to what the church teaches about everything and anything. Why do Catholics why must you go to Mass on Sunday once a week? It sounds like such a bad thing. Oh, you must go to church. Oh, what a tyrannical system. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. God gives you everything all during the week. Every good thing, everything you love, every person you love, everything you get. He gives you all of that. And we can't spend an hour with him on Sunday? And that's what when you think about it, that's what the church demands. Think about what your job demands. You will be here from 8 to 4:30 or 8 to 5. You will have this report at this time. You will do these things. You will not do these things. Blah 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 blah. Whole list of rules, right? And then the Catholic Church comes along and says you must come to Mass one day a week for an hour, right? You must confess mortal sins one time a year. It's like, are you kidding me? What could be easier? What could be easier to do and follow? So be careful with all the people who just kind of, meh, I'll do what I want. I'll be as Catholic as I want. I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. God isn't a feeling. God is love. And anything that you love, you're going to work hard for. You're going to do what you can for the one you love. And you hope, you believe the person that loves you does the things for you that you want and need. So it's a great relationship of love. So don't get caught in my Catholicism is a feeling, because feelings come and go, right? Love is forever. Sounds like a commercial, or maybe something for flowers. Number 8, living in fear of offending anyone, ever. We live in a day and an age, don't we? Isn't it crazy where people are so afraid to be offended or get offended at just the silliest things, and then you walk around on eggshells. Oh, I can't say this, I can't do that, I can't blah, 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 blah. But it gets back to being yourself. It's like if you can't be yourself. Now, don't go out offending people on purpose. Don't say stuff that just inflames and irks people just because you want to get a rise out of them. But if you can't express yourself and you can't be yourself because someone might be offended, then just lock yourself in a dark room somewhere and just call it a day, right? But the funny part of that too, though, when you think about it, is there are people who don't care if they offend you. You ever noticed that? If you're Catholic, I've met, well, I wouldn't say a lot. I've been around a lot of people who they have no problem just, throwing shade on the Catholic Church or the Catholic faith or putting it down and everything like that. But, knowing that I'm Catholic and people aren't like, oh, well, Mark's Catholic, so let's not offend them. They have no qualms about that. If people know where I stand on different issues and stuff, they have no qualms about, offending me or saying things that they know I don't believe in or agree with or whatever like that, and they just kind of laugh about it. But if you poke at the sacred cows of today's society, right? Oh, environmentalism and LGBTQ and on and on and on it goes. Oh, heaven forbid, you just touched that third rail, baby. You're gonna fry for that one. And you see actors and actresses and musicians and people getting quote unquote canceled because they upset or offended the wrong people. So don't conform to that kind of stupidity. It's ridiculous. You got to stand firm. And the more people who stand firm on just being good, decent people, but being honest people and calling a spade and calling things out and saying, hey, I believe this or that, don't let them shut you down. Okay. But you've got to have the strength to be that person first. So, don't be a spineless sissy boy or girl, right? Just be who you are, speak your truth. And if you're not intentionally out to offend people, don't worry about it. I mean, look at Jesus went out there. He didn't get up in the morning and say, well, gosh, who can I offend today? He said the truth. He said, I'm here to do the will of my Father. He said what was true. He didn't care who he upset. But again, he didn't go out and say, hey, who can I upset? He said the truth and people got upset no matter what. For goodness sakes, he healed people on a Sabbath day, right? The guy with the crippled hand or the the man who he cured who couldn't move, and he told him to get up and carry your mat after he he cured him. And the Pharisees, people are looking at the teachers, are like, oh, he healed this guy on the Sabbath day. Oh my gosh, what a horrible person. Forget the fact that he healed somebody, period. But they're all upset. They're all offended and everything like that. So don't worry about being offended. Speak truth. Speak it boldly. And don't shy away from, being a witness to what's true. Oh, number 9, one of my favorites. Be loyal to the family. I'm using air quotes no matter what. The times that you're around family, it's almost like the mafia, right? Hey, we all protect each other. Hey, we all look out for each other. Hey, we don't, we keep all of our our problems and our issues within the family. We don't talk about any of that stuff. So make sure you put on a good face. I'm not a good Italian mafia guy, but make sure you put on a good face. Don't air your laundry out in public, and on and on and on and on and on. Which to a degree I understand, right? Don't go out, don't go dissing your family, don't do all this other stuff. At the same time, if there's issues or things that are horribly wrong or things that are not right, if you're going to be loyal to a T to the point where you're getting hurt psychologically, physically, any other way, that's a problem. Family loyalty isn't about covering up everything that's horrible or bad, okay? Because that stuff happens in families. We all know that. But to sit around and think, oh, everything's wonderful and fine, but I better not say anything about this, or I can't, speak it. Or even within the family, that's the funny part. Have you ever noticed if you point out to your family, within your family, something that's kind of messed up, or hey, I've noticed this about the way you behave or act, or hey, this was, it's like, oh well, shut up. Who do you think you are? And I'll do what I want and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying that's in everybody's family. That's how it happens, but many times, if you are like the black sheep, if you're in a dysfunctional family, if you're the scapegoat, if you're one of those kind of folks, you've probably experienced where your family looks at you and says, well, we don't talk about that. Or you're crazy. That never happened. Or, no, I didn't do that. Or, what's wrong with you kind of stuff. Where you just get shut up and shut down. And it's not even discussed. And serious things don't even come up. And no one's allowed to talk about them, right? So in a sense, that's a loyalty to family. That you can't talk about what's really true, what's really hurting, what's really, upsetting you. And no one seems to want to resolve the issues or the problems, do they? Nobody wants to look at it and say, gosh, there's a problem here. We got to deal with this. So be careful when it comes to loyalty to family. What that means. Do you diss your family at every turn just because? No. But man, if you're just trying to conform to be a good family member, be careful, because you could get, there could be a lot of problems going on that have to be dealt with. And if you're just going to gloss over them and pretend they don't happen, oh, good grief, man. At some point, the folks, the nice men with the white jackets are going to come put you in one. And lastly, number 10, my favorite, that's sarcasm, the conformity of I'm basically a good person. How many people today walk around and say they excuse everything with, well, I'm basically a good person, especially Catholics. Well, yeah, I went out to the bar on Saturday night and I got totally hammered and sloshed, but I'm basically a good person. Yeah, I was really mean to that lady over there, and but I'm basically a good person. Yeah, I took some things from work that I wasn't supposed to and never returned them, but I'm basically a good person. What is a basically good person? Everyone's basically a good person, right? Even Hitler was basically a good person, and Stalin and Mao and all those guys. Do you think they got up each day and said, oh, I'm a terrible person. I'm an evil person. I'm so bad. But I think in their heads, at some level, they're like, yeah, I'm a decent person. I'm doing the right thing. I'm good with that. So I don't think there's such thing as basically a good person, because based on what? What do you base that on? I've got a relative who is like, well, I'm basically a good person. I don't kill anybody. I don't do this and this and this. But it has to go a lot deeper than that, right? It has to go to even venial sin. Do I lie to people? Do I take things that aren't mine? Do I mess with my, friend's husband or wife? Do I, I use that example. Do I drink way too much and I can't, to the point where I don't even know what I'm doing? I fall down, I black out and everything like that. I got a challenge for you. Stop being a basically good person and be a much better person. But based on, and for me, it's Catholic morality. It's like, look at what the church teaches. What are the sins that people go to confession for that you need to go for? Look at the saints and what they had to overcome. Right? Temptations of impurity. Right? If you're basically a good person, it's like, well, I'm going to sit there. I'm going to look through I'm going to watch some porn. I'm just going to go through these magazines, watch these videos and everything. But I'm still basically a good person. Right? So a better person would say, I'm not even going to touch that stuff. I'm not even going to look at it. I'm not even going to try to, I'm not even going there. So this basically a good person stuff to me is it's a cop out. It's for people who just don't want to try and don't want to dig deeper, who don't want to work harder and what have you. And your goal in this life is to be a better person. You're trying to get to heaven, right? As good or bad as a person you are, or good as bad as Catholic as you are, or whatever you profess, be a better person. Do the work. Try it. Work harder. Most people just don't even bother to try. It's so irritating when you're trying hard to be a better person. You're trying to, you're looking at the 10 Commandments. You're looking at the virtues and the vices, and you're trying to be a better person. And most of the world doesn't even want to try. In fact, what they'll do is they'll turn around and they'll make fun of you, right? They'll throw, boy, oh boy, they'll throw rocks at you big time. Oh, who do you think you are? Oh, you're too good for us. You don't want to go out to the strip club and everything with us? What's the matter with you? Oh, you're watching a movie and they use the Lord's name in vain, time after time after time. And you're like, I can't do this. I'm walking out. Oh, you're a prude. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. Set yourself to a higher standard. How about that? Quit going for the lowest standard. Quit going for the C minus. Go for an A. B plus. All right, go for an A plus. Go for it. So there's no such thing as basically a good person. I don't think. Let me know. Tell me if you've ever talked to anyone who doesn't think they're basically a good person, and then ask them to define that. What is a good person? What to what standard? I had this other guy. He was I don't know, atheist, pagan, or something like that, right? And just I'm basically a good person. Well, I'm like, well, what about God and the commandments? Well, I don't need that stuff. I just, I'm basically pretty good. So that's all I'm saying. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Pull yourself out of the muck and the mud and say, I'm going to try and do much better. And quit conforming to what the world is looking at you and saying, you know what? Psst, come with us. Just be like us. Don't make waves. Don't try to be different. We're back to the whole crabs in a bucket metaphor, where there's a bunch of crabs in the bucket and you try to get out and they keep pulling you back in. Quit being a crab in a bucket. There's a t-shirt right there. I'm not a crab in a bucket. So work hard. Quit conforming to what the world wants you to do and what the world wants you to be. And I know that's hard. It's hard for a lot of us who kind of didn't really grow up with this sense of like, oh, I can do anything. I can do anything. Failure is just a stepping stone to other things. We were crushed by failure. We were crushed by people not, cheering us on, or people not helping us or guiding us or anything like that. So I know it's hard, but each day make a little step. Say, I'm going to try and do this better. I'm going to be a better mom, dad, wife, husband, brother, sister, whatever. Okay. So work on that, because who wants to be stupid? Who wants to conform to what everyone else is doing? It's so ridiculous. I mean, read the newspapers on any given day, how stupid the world has become. So do you want to be part of that crowd? It's easy. It's so easy to do. Everyone's doing it. Why don't you do it? Okay? Yeah, don't be stupid. How about that? That's our motto for today. So get out there, be better than you were yesterday, and get on your knees and pray and ask God to help you with that. And make today a better day. And I know you can do it. I'm here to help you. I'm here to encourage you. We can do this thing together. And, if we're crappy people until the day we die, so be it. But be a better crappy person then, and not in a bad way. I think I just ruined my whole podcast with that line. Anyway, do better. Okay, see ya. Okay, here are 10 ways you may be conforming